This is Nintendo Power Uncovered, the show where I plan on reviewing the covers of all 285 issues of Nintendo Power. From the great to the baffling to the just plain lazy, we're gonna talk about them all. Now we're deep in the heart of summer of 1991, featuring covers based on hot games like Battletoads, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Mega Man and Dr. Wily's Revenge. A couple of these games are genuine classics, but are the covers any good? That's what we're about to find out in this episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. Even as a kid, I knew that the Battletoads was just a blatant ripoff of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, I still loved the games, but clearly somebody looked at the Turtles' success and said, I want a piece of that. And look, I'm glad they did, because Battletoads is awesome. I know it has its detractors these days, and there are definitely some people that just whine and cry about that difficulty, but I still love it. That said, I don't like this June 1991 cover. In fact, I kinda hate it. This Nintendo Power cover catches the Toads at the beginning of their all-too-brief reign, long before anybody could imagine a Double Dragon crossover. For many, this was their first exposure to Rare's impossible-to-beat brawler, and so it's disappointing to see the short shrift Nintendo Power gave the trio. You wouldn't know there were 3 Battletoads based on this cover art. Somehow the artists at Nintendo Power were able to erect a clay sculpture of Maniac Mansion and find enough construction paper to do justice to Star Tropics, but putting all 3 Battletoads on the cover was a bridge too far. Do you really think Nintendo Power would have left Leonardo or Michelangelo off of the Mutant Turtles cover? Hell no, they wouldn't. I mean, they'll make the foursome look as ridiculous as possible, but at least they're gonna keep the team intact. Now, the real problem isn't the lack of zits, or maybe it's pimple, I don't know, but rather how stupid the game looks. Oh no, it's the attack of the crows and tiny plants. The most menacing character on this cover is a flying orange demon. But guys, he's not even the slightest bit interested in the action below. The lack of an even moderately interesting bad guy has made my eyes wander, noticing just how strange the staging is. It appears as if this game is in some sort of theater, complete with a David Lynch-approved curtain and ice machine. I mean, I guess that explains the high kick lifted directly from the Rockettes. But if that's the case, then why are these birds and plants inside the theater? Sometimes I really miss the simplicity of the Mutant Turtles. The summer of 1991 was all about 3 things: mullets, Maid Marian, and men in tights. Yeah, I know, it's hard to believe now, but Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was a massive hit that not only dominated the box office, but also the Billboard Hot 100. And the success wasn't just limited to movies and music, because we also got a game from Virgin Interactive, and yes, this cover from Nintendo Power. Wait a second, forget Robin Hood. Is that a contest to win a trip to pick up a Super NES? Oh, Nintendo Power, you're gonna have to do a lot better than that. Even as a kid in 1991, I already had a free trip to pick up a Super NES. And her name was my mom. And if she wouldn't do it, then I guess I probably could have gotten a friend to help me out, or at the very least taken public transportation. It really wasn't that hard to find a Super NES in 1991. And are they gonna buy it for me, or are they just providing a trip to the store? I gotta be honest, you're being a little cagey about this, Nintendo Power. Look, it's probably telling that making fun of what I'm sure was a wonderful contest is more entertaining than talking about this cover. I'm just gonna have to say the same thing about this cover that I would say about the original Kevin Costner film. It's fine, I guess. I mean, this cover isn't awful, but it's not remarkable in any way. It's just sort of there. Which I guess is preferable to what we got last month, or the month before that, or the month before that, or, well, you get the picture. I think the problem that I have with this cover is that it doesn't make any logical sense. If the Hood is gonna go around and steal stuff, then he probably shouldn't alert everybody when he's right outside of town. You could practically see the guards pulling out their swords as the horse cries out. Come on, Robin, this is a sneaking mission. But now that I think about it, I guess they kinda already did that concept with the Super C cover back in 1990. And looking at it now, I see that I gave it the exact same score as this. I guess there's just something about hiding out in a forest that doesn't do it for me. So far on our journey through Nintendo Power covers, we've seen Mega Man star in one of the best magazine covers of all time, and one that's hot garbage. So how are we gonna break this tie? With Nintendo Power number 27 from August 1991, which I'm proud to say is another winning design for the Blue Bomber. Well, it's not nearly as great as the Mega Man 2 cover. This Dr. Wily's Revenge issue is amazing in its own way. Sort of like that Battletoads design that we just talked about, somebody is missing on this cover. Thankfully, this time around the absent Mega Man is on purpose. This is, after all, Dr. Wily's Revenge. Perhaps this spells out a renewed vision for Nintendo Power cover designs. Now, based on what I'm seeing here, Dr. Wily's plans involve creating a large suit that drives through the forest until he finds his prey. But where are all his robot minions? Are they already at their destination because he's too slow? Or is he eventually going to have to double back and then pick them up? Either way, I'm suddenly super into knowing what Dr. Wily would be like on a long road trip. My guess is that he probably belts out show tunes and has a thing for podcasts about Viking boat construction. Anyway, this cover gives me a lot of hope for the future. This is a reminder of how good Nintendo Power can be. I think we owe a lot of it to the handcrafted models. That's one of the best things about that Mega Man 2 cover, and the lack of these cool models is a big part of why I hated that Mega Man 3 design. I really don't care if there aren't any explosions or robot fights, because it's just fun to look at one of Dr. Wily's vehicles brought to life. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Nintendo Power Uncovered. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new reviews and features almost every day. Now here's the question I have for you. How would you rank these 3 covers? Do you think I got it right, or was I way off? Let me know in the comments below. In other news, I'm currently working on the biggest pile of reviews you've ever seen. Look for my take on Super Dodgeball Beats, Demoniaca, Out Buddies, Zenith, Death State, and so much more. While I work on that, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.